Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Campaign Middle East on the Record podcast, where we speak to top leaders in the region about the key trends and challenges shaping the Middle East brand and marketing industry. I'm Ahmad Numan, the editor of Campaign Middle East, and joining me today is Ahmad Numan, the director of marketing and corporate communications at the Ras Al Khaimah Economic Zone, also known as RAKEZ. Ahmed, thank you for joining us here. Thank you for taking the trip all the way from Ras Al Khaimah to Dubai.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Ahmed, RAKEZ has been named one of the fastest growing economic zones in the UAE. Now, this is interesting to me because you are in a very competitive market. There are other economic zones in the market as well. How have you focused on differentiation in terms of both your brand and in terms of your marketing strategies to stand out to businesses, to investors, to entrepreneurs who want to come to the UAE and, find a place that they can, like Rami used to say, to work, live and play in the UAE?
Yes, absolutely. Look, being named one of the fastest growing free zones in the Middle East is definitely something we are proud of. And let's boil down to how we made that happen. So we've realized earlier on that in order for us to stand out, we needed to offer something much more than just a license.
Right.
And what we've done is we've shifted our position from being a destination to being a long-term growth partner. Our differentiator basically can be summed up in three different areas. Ease, experience, as well as a full-rounded ecosystem that surrounds our clients and our investors with everything they need to succeed and to make it. And that's really the formula that brought us where we are today.
I like that. 3 E's, easy to remember. Ease, ecosystem, and experience. But within this also there is this conversation of how much of the creative aspect, added to the ease, experience, and ecosystem, and how much of the tech aspect added to it. Not that these are mutually exclusive, but we've been speaking about irrelevant storytelling, resonating content that resonates with the people that you're talking to. But at the same time, there are tech strategies that we've put in place. You've got customized LLMs, you've got very strong CRM strategies, you've got targeting, segmentation, all of this. How do you find the balance between both of these, bringing them together to ensure that what you just said in terms of ease, experience, and ecosystem is being driven?
When we say finding the balance, it gives me the impression that it's either or. Yeah. But to me, I see them both as two sides of the marketing coin, if I can say that. Technology or data gives us basically the insights, helps us reach out, helps us understand the customer, helps us understand and even maybe predict possible pain points. But then comes creativity that complements that with a narrative, a compelling storytelling, nice way to address and to reach the client or to reach that prospect with something that matters for them specifically. And that's where all the magic really happens. You have a set of data that helps you reach, and then you have a set of creative skills that helps you compel and helps you reach the person inside.
There is this connect between the way we say something. We're reaching out not only to solve their problems, but we're also learning what their latest problems are, and that comes from insights, that comes from understanding them. It's not about us living in echo chambers and saying, okay, these are the problems you're going to hit for the next 3 months. It's like it's real time, it's ongoing, it's actually listening to our consumers.
Absolutely.
But that's one aspect of it. Then in terms of execution, which goes a step beyond insight, it's the way we execute it cannot be disconnected. It has to, like you said, touch them on a human level. It has to, go to their heart. But moving from that into what you just said also is quite often when we're in that B2B segment, everything just becomes corporate. everything just becomes corporate jargon, you know. And one thing I love about the way RAKEZ works, for example, is you don't speak to businessmen as businessmen. You don't speak to entrepreneurs as entrepreneurs. You know, it's not only siloing them or stereotyping them or pigeonholing them in that corner. You see them as humans. You see them as fathers of families. You see them as people who are bringing their children to educate. You know, you're creating other experiences around them. And that goes beyond just the narrative of what RAKEZ stands for. It's connecting to them. And this is what I feel a lot of B2B players tend to get wrong as marketers, is we focus only on our products, our services, and we forget that edge to edge, that human to human aspect of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, often when we say B2B or when we think about B2B, we think of dealing with businesses. But we forget that behind every business is a person. And that person has hopes, has a plan, has ambitions, has a vision. That person has a dream. And it's essential that we connect in such a way where we understand that person and understand that dream, live it with that person, and basically help them get to that dream. And this is where really marketing efforts stand out. You have to have the right set of tools and the right set of technologies to capture that insight, to tell you what's new, what's happening, what could that person be possibly looking for, what would be the next service they would request, what would be the next pain point they would go through. And that's then it's the turn of creative writing, of having that human touch, so the data, the technology helps you establish that base, but then comes the human, which helps draft something or communicate something that resonates. And that's, to me, the formula of success. That's how you establish a connection, that's how you establish a partnership, and that's how you follow through with them every step at the line.
I like that, because I mean, going back to what you initially said in terms of ease, right? A lot of like other players in the market have been, okay, let's focus on getting the business licenses faster. You can get it within 10 minutes, in 8 minutes. That becomes a competition then, you know, who can they get it faster? And in this digital transformation world, everything is like, you know, online, you put your stuff up online. But then there's also this aspect, like you said, about an ecosystem. You know, you're bringing them into an ecosystem that's bigger, that's better, and they need to experience that ecosystem from the very first touch point, you know, from that first conversation that you have with them. My question to you around this, slightly going off at a tangent, is how is this communicated internally within your organization? Because it's good to talk about it, but then execution means that everybody, from the sales side, from the creative aspect, from the product side, from the procurement side, from the management and marketing side, CFO, CEO, CX teams, everybody needs to be on board.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just like you market your products and your services and your position externally, a lot of effort needs to be taken internally also for everyone to buy into the concept, so we're all talking the same language. And one thing that we take pride of is that from the highest level at RAKEZ to the very bottom level at RAKEZ, all of us, all colleagues have it within their DNAs that we at RAKEZ are not a licensing authority, full stop. We're much more than that. We are a true partner in the success of all our clients. And you see that from the very beginning marketing approach to the very end customer experience approach. Like, I'll give you an example of that. In RAKEZ, we don't only register license and set up that client or that a new business owner for their success. We've tried to look into how we can help them reach their dreams, get where they want to get. And we've noticed and we realized that oftentimes new business owners have some skill set gaps that could help them expedite their journey. and we've took it on ourselves to try to help and bridge that gap. We've launched what we are all very proud of, what we call the growth series. What that is a series of events that take place within the community, and that basically bring together new business owners along with experts in different fields to arrange basically workshops, seminars, and just help these new business owners upskill in areas, in essential business skills like, for example, how to market your service, to mastering maybe online presence. And it goes across a wide variety of services or a wide variety of skills that might be required to get there. It can cover areas such as financial literacy, to also maybe
compliance, regulation.
Absolutely. So we feel that these are all essential skills and essential knowledge that every business owner should have.
And that's so interesting, because when you think of entrepreneurship, like, even at some point we have thought about how about we start a new business? What would it be like if I had this really nice idea and I could start a business from my own? But then the problems lie but some of us don't know how to read the P&L. Some of us don't understand the laws, the setup, what it requires. Some of us don't understand, okay, how do I get my licenses on order? Some of us don't even understand how do I hire and, get the right people. And some of us don't know, okay, how much is it for a full office? How much is it for a co-working space? So it's interesting what you say there in terms of, giving this information out proactively, taking that step to, create that, like you said, this ecosystem. But that for me is an education piece, right? And I want to take that education piece and say it internally as well. How much of our teams at this point in time, given, like I said, how creativity is changing, how tech is changing, how much of that is an education piece internally as well that we as marketers need to not just succession plan, but also upskill our own teams and give them opportunities to grow within.
In a similar way, like what I've just covered on maybe trying to identify skill set gaps that could be useful for entrepreneurs and new startups. We also do a lot of that for our internal teams, especially with new technologies and with new tools.
And I don't want to say AI because everyone's saying AI, but we know what we're talking about. Yeah.
So it's definitely a challenge, or it's definitely a task to keep everyone up to speed. We've encouraged our teams since day one of AI, basically, to try to adapt AI. We've encouraged our teams, and we've done even competitions amongst departments to
hackathons
see.
And,
absolutely, we wanted to see what can we have that these tools solve for us, and that's something that's always it's an ongoing process, never stopping, never ending.
I like this from a cultural viewpoint, right? From a organizational culture internally, and looking at customers externally, saying, okay, there are points that they're struggling with. There are points where the world is moving ahead and we need to catch up, and we need to keep ourselves abreast of how things are. But from a marketing viewpoint, how do we measure against this? What metrics are we using to say, I'll give you an example, within RAKEZ, a lot of the business revenue would be, okay, how many new licenses did we give? How many new setups came in? And a lot of the marketing is driven towards helping hit those business outcomes. There's also this aspect of, are we making our society better? How many more people are coming here to stay with families and build, start from consumer spending upwards economically. But how do you measure and say, okay, we've done a good job from a marketing perspective outside of your P&L, outside of your revenues?
Well, you can't completely
dissociate from it, yeah.
Exactly. But what I can say is it's one thing to attract new entrepreneurs or new startups and new companies to come and set up, but it's a whole different thing to help your existing community flourish and to nurture that community that you have. It's an indicator to that would be basically the total number of companies that you have within your ecosystem. If that number is growing, that's definitely an indication that you're getting more than
Yeah.
what's
It's
leaving.
customer
Yes.
retention as much as acquisition. From the feedback that you've been getting, so I mean, right now there are companies who have celebrated 15 years at RAKEZ, 20 years at RAKEZ, and we see these posts come, on your feed and on their feed constantly. From the feedback that you're getting, like genuine customer listening, social listening, that you're getting, what is it that's keeping them there? Is it going back to ease, ecosystem, and experience, or is there like in Powerpuff Girls, you've got this chemical X that's keeping you going?
Well, being their growth partner is the chemical X in our case. So I have to say, basically, the community feel, the ecosystem that supports at every step of the way. That's really the formula of our success. But more than that, it's also because we feel we are their growth partners. We feel their success is truly part and a reflection of our success, and that's why part of the marketing messages and part of the marketing communications and the marketing narrative that you tell and that you're proud of tells the stories of success of the hundreds and thousands of customers and of clients who came and made it and came and started with a small office and have expanded throughout the years and today occupy larger and larger space. And that's nothing but testament of success. And we can't obviously take the credit for the whole thing, for their success, but I have to say part of that success comes also from the nurturing environment and the nurturing ecosystem that RAKEZ paves for its clients.
Do you ever feel like it's become much bigger than what you initially intended? Like there are now, like you said, not just thousands, but hundreds of thousands of companies there. Like how do you make everybody feel special? How do you make everybody feel like we hear you, we understand your problems? Or, is it like, okay, if I hit 10-20% of that crowd, I'm good? But the feedback that we're getting is like people are happy, right? How do you maintain that?
So let me tell you, the goal and the objective is not to hit a certain percentage of that. Every company and every client matters. It's definitely helpful having all the tools and all the new technologies in today's world which help in scaling up. But I would still insist and still at least tell the side of our story where we scale up using these systems, but we still try to, in every step, keep that human touch and keep that connection. And to me, it's that connection that makes the difference. It's being human in your marketing messages, being human in your marketing journeys. That empathy is what matters and what makes you stand out in today's world, with all the noise that you can.
Yeah, and I like that because I was just coming to the fact that we've got so much noise out there. Everybody has become an expert and opinion and has an opinion on everything. Like people ask me like, what's your opinion on, geopolitics, on football, on, the latest paddle tournaments, on Formula One. And it takes time to get to that level of self-awareness where, I know about a lot, but my expertise lies here.
Limited.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so in that, in the midst of all of this noise, in the midst of, again, like, there's so much of AI fatigue that's happening at this moment. How do we stand out apart from, like, you did touch upon keep the human aspect in your communications, but beyond that, is there something that we should or can be doing differently that says, maybe it's okay not to have volume, maybe it's okay to focus on quality, or, how are we pivoting in this world where there was a point where, are we active on X? Are we active on Facebook? Are we active on LinkedIn? Oh, we need a content calendar. We need these many posts going out, blah, blah, blah. But in this time where everybody seems to be doing that, what's that differentiator? How are we doing it either differently or better?
It's part of human nature to want to be in everything and to want to take parts of everything and to be
jumping on every trend and everything.
Yes. But I do agree with you. Usually, you will have one or two areas where you're a specialist, in. And I think for us, RAKEZ, our specialty is our ability to pivot, our ability to adapt, our ability to keep focused on the overall objective of ease and roam around it for every sector and every industry.
In that sense, what you're focusing on is going back to why we're doing what we're doing, staying core to the objectives, to the brand that you have, and ensuring that everybody, whether it's the people who are putting up posts on social media or people who are, focusing internally, are all aligned with that, even though you are still looking at, okay, how can we improve specific segments through that journey. I want to conclude. I'll ask you one final question is there any, over the last year, is there any campaign, a marketing campaign, or is there any activation, anything that you've done that really stands out, not just in terms of, okay, this was great for the business and, our customers, our investors, our businesses, industry agnostic loved it, but also made the teams at RAKEZ, made the industry feel good because there was a purpose behind it. It drove a little bit of social impact. It benefited the community and the ecosystem as well.
I mean, I'd rather not focus on a specific campaign, but maybe touching on something that we've already maybe discussed earlier, which is the concept of growth partners, where we took it on ourselves to identify how we can help existing customers rather than attracting new customers, how we can help existing customers flourish, and how we can help them grow and upskill. And we've used our connections to help set up events with public speakers who are experts in upskilling these investors and helping them reach their goals. That's mainly a part or a DNA in the of everyone in RAKEZ, to basically look and identify areas where you can help customers grow. And we've tackled that with a growth series of events for our customers to learn, to do something new, to help them basically also network and exchange business amongst themselves, and have that true economy, basically.
Cooperation, build on each other's synergies and strengths. That's interesting as well. I know people from your team will be watching this. I know people from the industry is going to be watching this, whether it's marketers or agencies or ad tech players. Take a second, and if you had a message to put out to the industry and saying, let's get together and grow or build or be better in an aspect, or if you had something that we can even let's try, test, experience something together, what would that be?
We tend to want to scale up and use and depend and rely on AI, on different technologies. And although I'm not against that, I'm a big fan of all that. But I think my main message is we need to be very careful. We need to not forget the human inside. I think in today's world, what makes a brand stand out is originality. Is really originality and connection. It's easy to approach and to target a large group of prospects, but it's difficult to identify what each unique member of that group needs and connect to them on a personal level and see how you can really help that person achieve what they're seeking. And that's what really matters. It not only helps the brand, but it also helps you sleep good at night.
I like that. Goes back to a conversation we had a little earlier. Maybe we need to be a little more self-aware and be a little more empathetic in life.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Isn't that a perfect way to end this conversation? Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Campaign Middle East on the Record podcast. Stay tuned for more such wonderful conversations with top leaders in the region. Thank you. That's all for now. And until the next time, goodbye.